So today we're going to talk about Doctor Strange, the Multiverse. People have been waiting for me to review this. The anticipation I've been waiting to review this, honestly, been waiting to see it. Finally saw it yesterday. By my self-published book Rain. It is a psychological thriller about a group of young adults in a psych ward who get this new counselor that's trying to understand their mental illnesses and trying to understand them, but then the counselor shortly learns that these kids might not be crazy and that this place is actually making them crazy, all the while trying to figure out what's going on with him and his psychological demons and his problems. If you would like more information about this book, be sure to hit the link in the description box below. Supporting me and buying these books actually helps. So, let's get into it. So, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, directed by Sam Raimi. It is an action-adventure of madness genre. It's PG-13. It came out this year. It is 2 hours and 6 minutes. So, the plot is a superhero. It's about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. He's a superhero film based on Marvel Comics, featuring the characters Doctor Strange, So America Chavez, and a version of Stephen Strange are chased by a demon in the space between universes while searching for the book of Ashanti. So one of the first things that I noticed about this film, from the very beginning, were the graphic designs. I mean, the whole film is the graphics, the special effects are on point, but from the beginning I noticed that it was action packed. It was nothing but just really good visuals, and I enjoyed that. It really pointed the audience and the readers who were watching. So I'm also just I know they had to have a huge budget for this film because there was so many involvement of other characters, production companies. I stayed until the end to watch the credits. Are you really a fan if you don't stay and watch it to the end credits? I feel like you're not. But yeah, I saw that they had recorded this in Hawaii, Hawaiian production. I'm no wonder the visuals were just so good. I do wonder what type of effects were used and not used. I mean, clearly certain stuff you just know is not real. So I'm just going to review this from beginning to end, when I first started watching it to the very end, because while I was watching I was taking notes on my phone. So in the beginning, Doctor Strange, he sacrifices a little girl, and of course I'm really, that's low. You're going to sacrifice this little girl just because you feel the fate of the world's going to depend on it and you have no other choice. Maybe sacrifice yourself, but he ends up dying anyway, and we found out that it's a dream. Now, America, her power is incredible, and we get to see and watch it unfold as time goes on, as the movie goes on, especially to the end. Oh, also I forgot, big spoilers. I don't even know why you're watching this if you haven't seen the movie, because it's out and I'm gonna spoil everything. So yeah, I said I'm gonna start from the beginning, but I'm gonna do the visuals right quick. So another great visual was the balcony scene where he jumped off the balcony, he as in Doctor Strange, when he was about to fight that giant eye. Oh, the giant eye, so cool. Just very, very cool. I mean, shout out to whoever did the special effects. Seriously, whoever was the graphic designer, the special effects person, the visual person that was doing all of that, kudos to you. I also think it was the direction of which he jumped, when he jumped off the balcony, and the way that he jumped down, the camera was kind of top of his head, but he was going down a rapid speed. Another thing as far as the visuals go, when my girl, evil wicked witch of the West, what's her name? When the Scarlet Witch pulled up on Doctor Strange and Wong and everyone else, and there was this gray smoke effect. The green horned beast was so adorable. I just wanted to touch his fur. The way that it looked was so clean, but the fur was soft just by looking at it. The explosion scenes, another good visual. The explosion scene, anything that was exploding, which is fantastic. The quick, crisp scenes where she was smoking everybody. one of my favorite parts is when she was like coming out of the puddles and coming out of the walls, and just you could see her eye coming out of the puddles, her hands reaching out of the puddles, and like this dripping red cloak, or not cloak, but like this dripping redness coming from her. Oh, the falling through dimensions. The falling through the multitude of dimensions, just mesmerizing. Oh my god. Now, whoever did that, I know it took so much time, so much detail, so much craft, and I appreciate detail in artwork, especially visual-wise, being that, like, I'm a painter. So, I appreciate the colors, the effects, everything about it. It's just... you're a god. It was just a nice view on the human eye. And of course, I know it took a lot of dedication, detail, and a lot of freaking money. But I also feel like they knew that, and they probably made it all back. But also, when they landed in the final dimension with the flowers, I'm just like, this is a beautiful place. I want to go there. I want to go there, and I want to stay there forever. Another beautiful scene that was kind of beautiful, but also sad, but also like, why she had to be the one to die, why she had to be the one to sacrifice herself, is when Sheila Adam, or is it Sheila Atim, who was the brave master of the mystic arts, she destroyed one of the witch's orbs, and the way that she looked, like she was like really dark and just ash. To be honest, it was like quite beautiful. She kind of looked like a statue. A beautiful sculpted ash dark statue, but the way that she went out was messed up. I mean, it's like she did take one for the team and did get one of the orbs stopped, but like overall it didn't really do anything in the end. And like, well, they had to sacrifice her. I don't like, she was like what, one or two of like the black girls on here, and she died by sacrificing herself. But the Scarlet Witch, honestly, the Scarlet Witch on her throne was just giving me life. It was giving me Queen Khaleesi's, and I was pretty hype. When I saw the statue, I was like, that statue is like really cool. I also like how the Book of Ashanti, the Book of Ashanti, the Illuminati, and kind of the architecture of the building, the statue, everything that was related and connected to the Ashanti, everything was connected, and I liked how they incorporated all those things and made it into a whole story. The big surprise, ooh. And something I was really like also hype about was my guy, Professor Xavier, Charles Xavier was in here. He showed up. He also had a bunch of other like superhero characters. The Fantastic Four guy. They had Captain Marvel. They had Captain America, the woman version, and then the other guy. I don't know his name. Although seeing this actor here as like was kind of weird. Because when I think about him, I just think about him in comedy. So seeing him in this was like kind of threw me off. But he did pretty well. Of course, we got to get into the fight scene, the battle scene between Scarlet the Witch, aka WandaVision. Speaking of WandaVision, I'm going to review that. I watched some episodes, didn't finish it. Anyways, I mean, yeah, she whooped everybody and killed them pretty fast. She basically turned Reed Richards' Fantastic Four character to string cheese. She killed the metal magnet guy. But at least the last two people, they held on pretty strong. I feel like they did pretty well. It was also nice seeing Lashana Lynch, who played in Black Lightning, who also is Captain Marvel in this, get some sort of cameo. And I feel like she really held it down, like to the very end. The only reason she really lost is because the statue kind of got dropped on her, but even then she like still protected herself even though it fell on her, and she was like the only one that kind of held her ground. Like even when her force was going against Scarlet's force, she like held her own against her until then. One thing I just had to question, I'm just like, how is it that the scientists who created the box didn't know how to get America out of the box? And I'm just like, but no, one of my favorite scenes also, I know every scene's my favorite scene, but one of my favorite scenes is the scene that I know is some sort of a literary reference. I know it's probably influenced by a movie when Charles Xavier goes to the white door in the white room, and he sees the Scarlet Witch, and she's like in this little hole. He basically tell her like, you're entrapping yourself, and it was like kind of sort of a metaphor, but also the fact that the whole room was white and it was just this one door, and then this mist of slow red thick smoke that kind of represented her, as well as red power, red demon devil. It was pretty captivating scene. Sadly, of course, Charles Xavier was killed. His neck was snapped. Also, the two realities colliding and clashing together. I know they had to get some influence from Inception, other sci-fi films, especially Inception, because I know that movie, watched it a couple times, and I'm like, that scene where the buildings are collapsing, I'm like, Inception. This movie definitely had great visuals. If anything, the visuals, the action-packed adventure, there. Other things was missing. I'm gonna speak on it, but as far as like visually stimulating action, yeah, the scene with all like the dark spirits within were amazing. The way that they were going in and out of him, and then they kind of went over to the witch, and they were kind of haunting her, and you could see them like through her eyes. It was terrifyingly, wickedly cool. Also, Mr. Wong, he's a brave warrior, and like, I thought he was a goner, honestly, but like, you don't miss.
Man. He's good. In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
So let's talk about the costume design. Costume design on point. Scarlet Witch costume just was amazing. I really liked her like headpiece thing, and the fact that she was like draped in red demonic witchiness. And of course we had Doctor Strange with his cape, very significant to his character. Her Scarlet's costume, very demonizing, very relatable to her character. And even America, her costume design, I mean, all she wore was like a jean jacket, but it had like the American flag and red, white, and blue and everything. I think it was just significant to who their characters were. Yeah, as far as the acting go, I feel like Scarlet, the woman who played Wanda, Scarlet the Witch, did like an amazing job. Like, she killed it. She was like super duper evil, super duper dark. It was giving me Dark Phoenix X-Men, but like times 10. But then again, kind of on another level. Yeah, this was like another level. Dark Phoenix Last Stand. She was just wicked evil. But then she tried to use like her kid thing to justify it. I'm like, I kind of like it, but it's really evil. Like, God, it's dark. As far as Doctor Strange, the actor who plays Doctor Strange, he's Doctor Strange, like, he did good. But I will say, he was kind of cringy. Whenever he would talk to America, like, his scenes were cringy, and I'm just like, no. The only time that he had really good emotional pull as an actor was when he had the scene with his betrothed, the woman that he was in love with. That was the only time I feel like he actually tapped into his emotions, and it was believable. But every other time it just was like, I don't believe it, I don't feel it. Like, I know he's acting. Like, also, side note, I will say this really has no probably relation to anything in this movie, but I noticed that the fact that Wong has like a very distinct feature in his nose, and I was like, he kind of has a black nose, which I thought was important, because like, when do you ever see that in movies? Never. Details matter. And lastly, let's be honest, Doctor Strange would have never even made it that far without this woman here. No, he wouldn't have. He basically was ready to die until she gave him some sort of encouragement and boost. So let's give it up for her. But I will say, overall, this is a really good film, and I really liked it. And I see another one happening, because there was a cliffhanger at the end, and like I said, if you're a real fan, you stay to the end. Like, after the other credits, you saw what happened at the end. Those were great. Like I said, this was shot in Hawaii, and this was pretty fast paced. Never a dull moment in this movie. Not one time was I bored watching this. Review. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and comment below, let me know what you thought about this movie. How many times did you see it? Thought about going to see it twice, only saw it once. Great. 10 out of 10. Yeah.